Holding the microphone.
Good evening, everybody. I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Paul Webb. I'm from Reform UK, and I would like to apologise for those of you who thought you were going to the Simple Minds concert, and it's just down the road. I'm really looking forward to any questions you have later on, and hopefully meeting with you and talking a bit later afterwards. Thank you.
So the question again, how will the party support volunteer-driven community events such as live music, events, festivals and more that are such a huge benefit to the local economy?
Thank you. Well, I think the way things are going at the moment, we really need to create an environment not just for business but for everybody, because a lot of these events, they are struggling. So many volunteers have to volunteer because they cannot afford to pay staff, they cannot afford to go through the red tape that's needed, and we need to create an environment where these things can happen so much easier, creating a lot more local jobs, a lot more money coming into the local area, and obviously not just in Thanet, across the country. This is something that we need to do countrywide, because unfortunately, the current government, who I just couldn't be bothered to turn up tonight, stymied and stifled everything along the way for everybody, whether it's business, whether it's music, whether it's theatre. You see now theatre tickets in London are over £300 a ticket. Locally as well, the costs have gone through the roof. They've had to, because the costs to them are so prohibitive that they cannot offer cheap tickets. I mean, you look at, a friend of mine went to see Madness last night, and they were worried about the cost of the tickets. So we really need to address that, and everything else will help and follow from that.
What support will the parties bring to ensure that the sector is funded sustainably so that it can continue to deliver indispensable services to our community? So we're going to start with Paul Webb. You've got the mic.
Thank you.
Microphone.
Well, we've got to ensure that across the sectors, no matter what they are, that we have to give them a platform and that they can operate from on a level playing field without being taxed to death for everything they do, whether it's premises, whether it's staff, no matter what it is. We've got to lower taxes on everybody, from the working person right through to the business people. I mean, the business rate, you all know, a lot of you in here probably have premises, business rates, not just locally but nationally, are an absolute disgrace. They really are. It doesn't allow anyone to really set up a business and thrive. And whether it's a charity, no matter what it is, they have costs as well. They have overheads, which is why they have to volunteer and have to rely on so many volunteers for things as well. And it doesn't allow them to thrive. It doesn't allow them to really help. And charity, I'm a freelance photographer. I do a lot of work in the charity sector, not just in Thanet, but also all over the country as well. And it's something you hear all the time, where they have to raise X amount of money to achieve something, and so much of that money then has to go to pay government fees, taxes, etc., etc. We just have to address that first and foremost. We're raising the tax level for everybody to £20,000 a year. So to take a raise of £7,500 straight away, that will help absolutely everybody, from the lowest earners right the way up. So everyone. Hello. That will help absolutely. Hello, Norman Collier. That's going to help absolutely everybody. And also, we're going to scrap the levy from the green energy bills on everyone's household energy bills straight away. That will give everybody money back in their pockets, because what is the point taxing people with one hand and then giving it back to them in benefits, charities, etc., etc., with the other hand? Give people the opportunity to earn their money and actually keep it to use for themselves and their families. Thank you.
I want to know who of the parties will be prioritising arts and culture in their policies.
I think we'd all absolutely love to support arts in the education sector far more. I also think we have to address real problems with schools and education totally, because we've got children going to school in stab-vests now. We've got children excluded from school. We've got children that are leaving school completely illiterate. And this is on the rise. Over the current 14 years we've had of the Tory government, this has got worse and worse and worse. And I know my own children go to school and went to school in Kent, so I know firsthand. I was also one of the governors of a local primary and junior school where my children went. So this is something I've experienced. I've experienced with pupil premium and the problems that children have, not even being able to go to school in uniform and have packed lunches and things like that. So this is something that arts and education are very, very important, but we need to start right from the bottom, because this Tory government has absolutely pretty much wrecked everything in this country in the last 14 years. And until we get the basics right, until we start to get especially education and schooling, where children are in an environment where they can learn safely, then we really, really need to focus on that as well.
What support will the parties offer to community hubs and support services that provide vital practical support and services such as the Geekery in Margate, so that they can continue and grow their impact? So if we kick off with Paul Holton.
Pretty much everyone's talked about giving money back to people. How about we just don't take it off them in the first place? Probably a lot of the people out there in the room run your own businesses, run your own premises. I guarantee you know what you're doing far more than government departments do, because that's been evident over the last God knows how many years of both Labour and Tory governments. You know what you're doing, you know what's best for your businesses, and you know that instead of paying lots and lots of money out on business rates and tax and cost for this and cost for that, how about you just keep that money in the first place to reinvest in your business, your staff? It doesn't matter whether you're running a hub, whether you're running a pub, whether you're running a live music venue, whatever it is. You are the best people to do it, and you are the best people to know how to run it and how to finance it. Instead of paying lots and lots of money out to government, who, let's quite be honest, they waste it on all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So don't take it off you in the first place.
Environmental policies, and that is everything from single-use plastic to our streets, trees, and also the quality of the water in the sea, and obviously the coastline around us. So maybe we'll go back in order again, keep that simple.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something particularly, you gentlemen there asked the question about the seas and the pollution and plastic in the seas. I'm a surfer myself, your hair may be a giveaway. So I've seen this quite literally up close, and it's some of the beaches that you see, not just here but obviously abroad as well, can be absolutely terrible. There's lots and lots of tiny microplastic in the sea. This is something that we've got to address and look into, but we need the funds to do it. We cannot keep spending millions and millions of pounds every year on things that just don't work and that are pointless, as this government has done. If we're going to look at things like that, we need to have the funds available to do it. And the only way we can do that is to allocate money to the right places so that there's less government control and it goes back out to local communities, and communities can have the money and the funds to do that with.
The lady's question about parties going to do for disabled people in Thanet, we'll go through and then we'll do the environmental questions together. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Well, some of you may notice my hands, I'm actually disabled myself, and one thing I would like to point out is that we need to stop demonising disabled people. 1 in 5 people in this country have a disability of some form or another, and a vast majority of them, just like myself, work, earn money, support ourselves, and yet people don't seem to realise that, and people don't seem to focus on that at all. However, we also do need to make sure that the correct amount of money goes to the right people that deserve it. And we all know, and we can see over the last 14 years, the way that current government has wasted bucket loads of money. And the real people that really need it are not getting it, because far, far too many people are getting it and don't deserve it. And we really need to look into that. We need to look into that, and we need to allocate it to the right people who deserve it. Right, I would just like to say, all these professional politicians that you hear from every day of the week now on television, etc., they're all telling you what they think, what they want to do, how about just for once we actually listen to what the people want? July the 4th is a major day for our country. It's a time that we listen to what the people want, whether it's on immigration, whether it's on business, whether it's the NHS, schooling, security, policing. Just for once, let's listen to what the people want, answer the questions that they put to you, and then let them decide on July the 4th, because the only way we are really going to save broken Britain is if you vote for reform, because nothing else has worked in the last 30 years of both Labour and Tory governments. Thank you.